Hello, BookTube. This is my contribution to Katie Books' 10 Classics You Must Read. So recently, Katie Books has been producing a series of videos discussing 10 classics he thinks you must read, or argues that you must read. These books are ones that he's already read and rather likes. He has made 2 videos so far. One from the beginnings of human writing about 2300 BCE to December 31st at 11:59 seconds. 1899 as the cutoff date, and that's CE, or BC AD, however you define these dates. But anyway, and I think and then he did the second one, which was the 20th century, which he called modern classics, and then there will be a third for 21st century classics, which I guess might be contemporary classics. And I know there's been another tag similar to this one that made the rounds a few months ago that I wanted to do but never did. But anyway, I decided I wanted to contribute to this trilogy of classics you must read. So my 10 classics that I think people should read are ones that I have read and rather enjoyed. So at number 1 is the Epic of Gilgamesh. This is the first known piece of creative writing of the first epic. It is the story of Gilgamesh, who was a king of Uruk, who basically develops as a character. He is initially a tyrant who is modified by a conflict with a wild man. And they go on a series of adventures. Blanking on the character's name at the moment. Until they anger the goddess Inanna. And she sends the bull of heaven, who kills Gilgamesh's companion, and Gilgamesh then goes on a quest for immortality and gradually understands the preciousness of mortality. I read it a few years ago and really enjoyed it, and I think everybody really should read the Epic of Gilgamesh and earlier works of mythology. Moving on to the literature of Greece and Rome, particularly Greece, I have 3 recommendations from Greece, of which I have here on my shelf, and actually the first 3. The Iliad by Homer. This is one of the great epics. It is the story of the last months of the Trojan War, in which the god Apollo has launched an attack on the Greeks in response to a prayer from one of his priests. And in order to sate Apollo's anger, the priest's daughter must be returned. She had been held captive by Agamemnon. To recompense Agamemnon's loss, he takes one of the captives of Achilles. Achilles throws a temper tantrum and absents himself from the fighting. Gradually, over the course of the epic, Achilles is brought back into the fighting and kills the Trojan hero Hector, or the Trojan champion Hector. I love the Iliad. It's a joy to read whenever I read it, particularly the scenes where the gods are involved. I love those scenes. immensely. I am also adding the Odyssey by Homer. This takes place after the Trojan War, and it tells the story of Odysseus, one of the Greek generals' 10-year journey home and his adventures. It is a wonderful work that I love, and it's been far too long since I've read it. I really need to give this another reread. But I especially love how Athena, the Greek goddess of war and wisdom, plays an almost tritagonal role. Because the main protagonist obviously is Odysseus, and the deuteragonist is his son Telemachus, who's going in search of his father. And then Athena is basically helping both of them because she's rather fond of Odysseus. So I like it. For number 3, I'm going with the Theogony by Hesiod. This is a story that tells of the creation of the world and the birth of the gods, and is a fantastic poem. It's very short and can be read rather quickly, and I love reading it every time I read it. I am also including the Metamorphoses of Ovid on this list. I don't have a copy. It's a wonderful look at Greek mythology, or in this case, Roman mythology, that I haven't read in years, and I really, really want to. So maybe a project in 2023 is to collect some, particularly Ovid, but also see if I can find some anthologies of the Greek and Roman lyric poets. It might be interesting to see if there are any anthologies available, or if they're all rather way out of print. But anyway, at number 6, I have Beowulf. Beowulf is an Anglo-Saxon epic and an Old English epic. It tells the story of the Swedish hero Beowulf, who goes on 3 adventures. His first is to fight a monster named Grendel and his mother, which technically is actually one adventure. And then later, when Beowulf is an older king, he fights a dragon. Going up a few centuries, I'm adding Sir Gawain and the Green Knight at number 7. This is an Arthurian poem that tells of a mysterious Green Knight who has come to Arthur's court to challenge Arthur and his knights. Sir Gawain takes up the challenge and is expected to receive the entering stroke in a year's time, and he goes and has a bit of adventure in the castle of a local lord, who turns out to be the Green Knight. And it's really good. I quite enjoyed it. It's been far too long since I've read it, though. At number 8, I have Hamlet by Shakespeare. Although you could really put any Shakespeare here. I mean, I'm not the biggest Shakespeare fan. Well, I'm not really a Shakespeare fan at all. But you kind of have to have Shakespeare on this list. So, and I do have his collected works, or complete works. So I very rarely get a chance to haul this out. So yeah. But Hamlet is the story of the Prince of Denmark, who is sure that his father has been murdered, and when he gets confirmation, seeks to enact revenge on his father's murderer, who just so happens to have been his uncle, and who has since married his mother. Anyway, but it is a fantastic play, and it is my favorite of Shakespeare's plays. At number 9, I have A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is a very short novella about a miser named Ebenezer Scrooge, who lacks the spirit of Christmas. And over the course of the story, and 4 ghostly visitations, he gradually does conceive of the spirit of Christmas, and this short work is largely or in part responsible for modern Christmas as it's celebrated, certainly in the English-speaking world, but also possibly beyond. And at number 10, I have The Country of the Pointed Firs by Sarah Orne Jewett. This is one of my favorite short novels. It's the story of, I'm blanking on it, because it has been forever since I read it, but it is a delight to read. And I think thinking about this list, I'm kind of sorely tempted to spend at least part of my book buying in 2023 collecting some of these classics, because I don't have many of them. I mean, I only have all of Shakespeare, the Iliad and Odyssey, and the Theogony, and I would like to have some more. Although, that said, that idea is, excuse me, in a bit of competition, because I also want all of these, which I'll be talking about on Friday at some point, because these both were so great. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and sign up for now. I might do my 10 modern classics tomorrow after I make the list them. But for now, I need to go and add these 2 to my red list. So until I see you tomorrow with a tag video, thank you, BookTube. Have a great evening and stay safe.